Okay, welcome to Random Guitar Battles number 8. This is where we put a bunch of guitarists into a big glass bowl, put their names in a big glass bowl, mix them up, draw them out, and have a random battle where I talk about them for a bit, and then you vote in a poll or leave comments in the comment section, and we go through until we get a list of the greatest guitarists in history. And for this matchup, we've got Gary Moore versus Yngwie Malmsteen, which shows you how crazy these pairings can get sometimes. So I'm going to go ahead and give 3 reasons why I think you should consider each one of these guitarists superior, and then you tell me what you think. So the first thing that I think you need to mention with Gary Moore is that while he's well known for being a blues player, he's actually a master of all guitar styles. He can play jazz, he can play hard rock, he can play metal, he can play blues. So his versatility is element number 1. And if you don't know Gary Moore's extensive background performer, you should go back and give his discography a good long list. The second thing I think that needs to be mentioned in terms of Gary Moore is his taste. He is one of those guitarists that can play like a fast shredder, and he can hang with the best of them for sweep picking and speed, but he chooses to play tastefully and to leave a lot of space between his notes and to milk the most out of every single phrase. And this requires not only mastery of the instrument, but mastery of yourself, which is a lot harder to do. The third thing that I think you mentioned with Gary Moore is his tone. Gary Moore has the greatest guitar tone outside of Peter Green in terms of English blues guitarists that I've ever heard. I think Clapton gives him a run for his money, but when you get right down to it, Gary Moore puts as much thought into the tone of his guitar. He's got the best sustain of all of the blues-inspired guitars. So yeah, those are my 3 top reasons why Gary Moore should be considered the best. Now, with Yngwie, the first thing that I would point out with him is his mastery of classical thought. Now, it's different than saying, well, he just plays the harmonic scale over and over and over and over. What I'm saying is he understands how classical music works. He has a classical musician's way of seeing music, particularly as it relates to the guitar. And if you're a guitarist, you'll know what I mean. When you take a piece of music and you translate it to the guitar, it is truly transformed. So if you take a piece of music by Bach or Beethoven and play it even on a gut string classical guitar, it's going to have a way different feeling. The guitar brings an expressive quality to it that Yngwie has in his DNA. He understands this in his DNA. So the second thing would be his speed. Yngwie is a speedmeister. He is famous for how fast he can play, double picking, but that's just the technique part of it. There is another part of it, the musical part of it, understanding what speed does to the listener emotionally. And not necessarily, he's a very gratuitous player, but he does understand how those rapid passages can impact the listener viscerally, emotionally, and even psychologically. And so the third thing that I would say about Yngwie that stands out is his confidence. He is one of the more confident players, and I think that you need confidence to be a lead guitar player, and each guitar player expresses it differently. For this particular occasion, say Gary Moore expresses his confidence by standing in front of the audience and playing one note and sustaining it for 8 or 10 seconds. Yngwie expresses his confidence by saying, no, look, you have to consider me like Bach and Beethoven and Mozart. I don't want to be considered like Page and Clapton and Hendrix. And you may think this is a stupid thing to say, and you may not agree with him, but his degree of confidence, that cockiness, that overwhelming belief in destiny, I guess, is something that I think brings Yngwie out of the crowd. He stands out of the crowd due to his enormous belief in his own charisma, or riz. Alright, so those are my 3 reasons, and I'll put up the poll. You can vote in that. You can also leave a comment in the section below, and remember to like and subscribe. Thanks a lot.